So in this video, I want to talk about a book called A Thousand Splendid Suns, written by Khaled Hosseini. Now, Khaled Hosseini is a master of storytelling. He wrote about female endurance, courage, faith, and resilience so beautifully that is almost unparalleled. Now, I have some criticisms about this book that I'll mention at the end of the video. But I would also say this, despite the criticisms, this is a fantastic read because it will take you on an emotional roller coaster ride, and you will also realize how privileged you are compared with people living in countries at war such as Palestine, Syria, Libya, Iraq, etc. First, let's talk a little bit about the story. The story is set during the time of Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, then subsequent civil war, and eventually the American invasion. In this book, we see how two powerful female characters navigate through their lives in those difficult times. One female character is Mariam. Mariam is an illegitimate child of her father, and because of her illegitimacy, her life is marked with societal shame and rejection. And she also didn't have any access to education in her early life. That means she had no real possibility of becoming a valuable member of society. Then we have the character named Laila, who was born into a progressive family with a supportive father. That means she has a real possibility of becoming some sort of professionals like a doctor or a lawyer in society. So the initial stages of the lives of Mariam and Laila can be seen as a juxtaposition of beauty and cruelty. Life is pretty beautiful for Laila in her childhood. In contrast, life is very cruel to Mariam throughout the story. But by some unfortunate twist of fate, Laila loses both of her parents. Then she is forced to marry an abusive man called Rashid, and now Rashid is also Mariam's husband. That means both Mariam's and Laila are married to the same person. Because they are married to the same person, they are supposed to be enemies, right? But instead of animosities, a beautiful relationship grows between them, and that bond between them is the most beautiful thing about this novel. And let's talk a little bit about this abusive man called Rashid. Rashid is the antagonist of the story. He basically brutalizes and abuses Mariam and Laila throughout the story. And that's all I want to say about the story. Now let's talk about the criticisms that I have. In this book, the author presented a very orientalist and stereotypical view of Islam, where women have no rights, no access to education. So his writing equated backwardness and fundamentalism with the mainstream Islam in a very subtle and nuanced way. That means if you don't pay attention, you would not see it. But this is still quite problematic. And what's even more problematic is that the author painted the US invasion of Afghanistan in a positive light on the pretext of democracy and liberation, which is a gross distortion of the truth, because we know that the US imperialism has brought nothing but death and destruction around the world. They invaded and killed hundreds of thousands of people in the name of democracy. And in Afghanistan, the US bombardment killed almost 400,000 people. How can killing 400,000 people be a positive thing? I think this is a testament to how US uses literature and media to whitewash their war crimes abroad. Anyway, to conclude, this book is a great work of literature. You would have a wonderful time and a lot of emotional upheavals while reading this book. But read this as a pure work of fiction. Don't take any historical lessons, because there were a subtle misrepresentation of Islam and a lot of lies. So that's it for today. I'll be back with another video.